We read chapter 3, and the whole subject for chapter 3 was to mask or not to mask. And when I was reading this chapter, I really had some moments where I was like, am I autistic? Welcome back to On the Rug. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time with us, this is my co-host in the back, Roxy. Yeah, she doesn't do much but enjoy her best life back there. So yeah, that's her. And I'm Nesha. I'm your host. And if you have been rocking with us since episode 1, because this is episode 7, I want to say thank you because y'all are my day ones if you've been rocking with us. We have so many more to go. So just grateful for y'all being here. We are going to discuss in our book chat segment of the show, chapter 3 of the book that we are currently reading. It's called The Pivot by Kim Gallo. If you want to get the book, the description, the link will be there. If you want to follow along, but if you don't worry. I go over summarizing and giving lots of resources from the chapters in the book chat segment. On the second segment of our show, we have a thing called Business Lesson Storytime, where I share the lessons that I'm learning and that I've learned thus far in my journey as an entrepreneur, building my music business as an artist. And also I have a healthcare brand that I'm a founder of. So on today's episode, we are going to discuss during Business Lesson Storytime our topic, which is the art of sales. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one. So yeah, we're going to talk about the art of sales and how that applies to business as an artist, and also in a traditional type of business, like in healthcare. If you're building something or you're a founder, we can never learn enough. So we're going to talk about those principles today. And then the last segment of the show, I am going to give you all a live performance of the song that I have just finished yesterday. The song is called, I don't know what the song is called yet. I didn't even give it a title. Girl, this is why I have to keep a notebook, y'all, next to me, because I'm writing a song each week. So I think we're going to call this song The Light. I think that's what it should be called, The Light. And we might change that. It's a demo version. I bring you guys with me in my writing process. And that's the point of the show. It's all about being natural, being organic, genuine, authenticity. You're getting what you're going to get out of me. You either like me or you don't at this point, So I'm going to perform that song at the end of the episode. So let's get into it. Let's get into the show. Let's get into book chat. We read chapter 3, and the whole subject for chapter 3 was to mask or not to mask. And when I was reading this chapter, I really had some moments where I was like, am I autistic? Like, do I have autism? I really was like, the masking thing really opened my eyes. And then I realized, no, I'm just Black in America. And we have a lot of similarities I didn't realize. And I say that, let me explain to you, because, okay, in the autistic community, and we're going to go over the details and what Kim gave us and everything, because, man, she gave some really great insight, right? Because masking is not unique to autism. And that's what she literally said. And that's why I got my notes, right? She was saying that masking is also called camouflaging. And it is the practice of acting in a way that would be seen as normal or socially acceptable. Masking is not unique to autism. So when I read that, and I was like, oh, I have to write that down for the chat, because as a Black person, especially you'll know if you were raised in a household where Black excellence was very key. And that's the type of household I grew up. I didn't grow up in poverty or anything like that. I grew up privileged in a sense. Athleticism and education was very important in my household. And keeping a certain image was very important in the household that I grew up. And plus, whether or not you grew up in a privileged environment or not, just as a Black person, a common thing that we know in our culture is something called code switching, where we know, like, if you're going to get on the phone or you're going to be in certain environments, you need to dress a certain way. You need to speak a certain way. You can't be yourself, is pretty much what it is. And that is something similar to what autistic people are dealing with that Kim had opened my eyes to with the whole masking thing. And we know how exhausting it is to have to put on this air in order to be seen as acceptable and to be heard, that you do have to talk a certain way. Even the way that I'm talking to you now, this is how I talk. I have a little bit of twang. I'm from California, so it may be considered a little bit proper. This is just me, no matter what, right? But I remember being younger and putting a little bit more of a, I don't know. I didn't even know how to get, how do I get into that voice? I mean, let me act like I'm talking on the phone. Hello, how can I help you? This is Nesha. Hi. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Like, it's a little bit higher pitched, I guess, the tone. You feel like, oh, maybe you'll accept me a little bit more if I'm not like, hey, girl, what's going on with you, girl? Oh, no. So, like, there's a whole nother language that we speak at the cookout that is different than what we speak in the workforce, right? To be acceptable. And we're always trying to figure out, well, what is that tone? And sometimes you could put it on and people still hear, I'm talking to a Black person. But when it comes to the community of those who are autistic, very, very similar of what they are dealing with. And so she was saying you're having a constant awareness and focusing on not being yourself most of the time, and just how exhausting that is. And I feel like if more of us within the community knew about what people were going through with autism, because a lot of us aren't privy to what it is, how to deal with it, how to manage it, how to understand it, we would be so much more accepting in our community of people with autism. I feel like a lot of times we are already, even without acknowledging it as autism. Within the Black community, a lot of times we're just like, oh, that's just that cousin. They just always matching. They just always, talking about that, that's just them. We don't really shun autistic people that I've seen in my community. You can put in the comments what you've experienced, but from what I've noticed is we more so kind of put it off as like, you just a little different. You just, ain't nothing wrong with you. That's how we see it, and I feel for people in other communities, especially in the Caucasian community, because that culture is all about professionalism, and that culture is all about presenting a certain way. So being othered is not something they're used to. So when their child is autistic, the bullying from their own community, the ostracism that their family feels from not being able to be a part of that culture is something else that they deal with that I don't understand, because I'm not a part of that community. My husband he's an Australian white person, and his brother is autistic. And I see the difference where I'm like, wow, like, for my daughter, she is, I've told you guys before, if this is your first time, my daughter is on the spectrum. She's what would be considered, and I know some people don't like these terms of mild, but she's considered to have a mild case of autism. Her thing is more social and behavioral in a way, her learning just how to adjust and understand. I always give it an example of like, my daughter would probably be one extreme or the other. She probably either, without therapy and help, be the really quiet, pretty girl in the back that everyone's like, she's weird, but she's cute. If she only got herself together, she'd probably be the most popular girl in school, not knowing she's autistic. She gets social anxiety, the room's too loud. It's all these different things that she's going through, and she just rather just put her head down and sit in the back of the classroom. Or the other extreme, because my daughter is conventionally attractive, she could end up being Regina George. And that's more so what I'm afraid of, honestly, because she's very popular. She has friends. She loves socializing. But she could be mean, and she could be blunt, and she doesn't mean it that way, but it could come off that way, and she could end up being the most popular girl in school terrorizing everybody. So I'm trying to help you and my child and your future children not have to potentially deal with a Regina George. That's what we're dealing with on my end. For some other parents with autism, it's like their children are so much further along on the spectrum that the way they think and understand things can make it a little bit more difficult for them to adjust in society. Whereas for the things that my daughter is dealing with, she's still able to be within society. And in my opinion, we'll go over, I feel like the high functioning autistic people don't really have as much advocacy because people feel like, well, you could still get a job. You could still, work. And they don't understand. Like, for example, I was at Staples last week and I know God put me in this situation because he was like, you talking about advocating for these people? We're going to put your advocacy to practice, okay, when it's not your child, right? Go to Staples. I'm waiting for something. I was picking up like some documents I had printed because I don't know, haven't bought a printer. I need to do that. Anyways, I'm going there. This young man, he's helping this lady. And then there's a girl and she's like working on something, getting some papers together or whatever. And I'm standing there and in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, why doesn't she just come over here and help me? Like, I'm getting irritated in my mind, like, why is she over there doing that? And she should be asking me, or at least come over here and say, ma'am, I'm going to help you. I'm going to get to you or whatever. So I'm fuming a little bit. I'm like, how she is behaving, right? And she just mind her own business, doing her thing. And then she comes over to me. And when she opens up her mouth, the way that she asked me, oh, how can I help you? I knew right then, oh. And then she helped me perfectly fine. And she said, pleasure, like the way that she said it, I could tell it was almost like a script thing because I know how my daughter does her scripts. So I was just like, oh, God convicted me, y'all. God convicted me. Like, girl, this is you're the neurotypical problem. You are the neurotypical problem in this world, Nesha. That's how I felt about it. Like, be patient, be calm with people, because she was just focused on what she was doing. She wanted to make sure that she was doing it right and getting it done. And sometimes the multitasking elements, like when we talked about in the last episode with a young boy, he couldn't look someone in their eyes and listen to them at the same time. That's just not how his brain was operating. He was like, I got to look away to really listen to you. That's just how his brain operated. That doesn't make it right or wrong. That's just him. And so that's one of the things that we have to come to understand, is that we can do much better together, united, having understanding for one another, than to be so entitled. These are key principles that will help you out a lot on your journey to not get discouraged, because it's not about luck. So, for example, within the music industry, for a very long time, there was this essence of artist development, right? And a lot of people don't give credit to Berry Gordy because that's where that came from. It's not like artist development is an essential part of an artist's journey from a label or a distribution company or anything like that. That was something that was new and introduced through Berry Gordy, who at Motown more so had what I would consider like a Michelangelo system. So if you know anything about the fine arts, Leonardo da Vinci was more so of someone who made things from the dome, right? Michelangelo was more so of a visionary that had a vision of an artwork piece and would commission different people who were capable of doing his vision. So Berry Gordy was kind of similar to that, where he was an artist in a way where he knew, okay, I got to get these writers, these people who are really good at singing, that have the look or the image for what we want to put out. We have these people who are really good at producing the music and making the music. So they were all these different departments, and then you put them together and they, are an act of its own. And so that is where artist development really came from, where the label is really developing the product, right? They're really manufacturing the product in-house, the artist being the product. Now, in today's age, the artist is still the product. But because of the change in the market and just the cycle of what we're going through in the real estate industry, we would call it a correction of the market that we're currently going through. It's different. So the best example that I can give you is that now as an artist, you have to look at yourself the way that people look at themselves, like on the show Shark Tank. The label is the sharks, like the investor. You come pitching your business to them, how a lot of the times these people have already established themselves and they're looking to scale. And that is the same thing that's happened now in the music industry for artists. It's a great thing, I think, because now you have to be a CEO as an artist. You have to have a business owner mindset. And now that the labels, they're not developing the product, what they're doing is investing in the product like shareholders. You do have more sense of control, and you're not an employee anymore that is in-house following these steps of what they tell you to be. You have to know who you are and bring that to the market, and it either works or it doesn't. If it works and it's scalable, then they'll invest into it so that it can expand. And so with that understanding, how does the art of sales take into play, right? Now that you have to think, I'm a CEO, I am the product, my music or my art or whatever it is that I'm doing, I've got to market it. So we're going to talk about the 3 principles to sales that you really got to get in your head no matter what it is that you do. And then when you're creating these 3 foundations that are separate that I build everything off of. The first 3 are negotiation, confidence, and numbers. Okay. Negotiation, number 1. How do you negotiate? That is a very key part of the art of sales. And a lot of people make it seem spooky, wooky. Oh my God, what's your key to negotiation? Negotiation is debate. It is argument, right? If you've ever been on a debate team or seen a debate, you're probably going to be a really good salesperson because it's all about having evidence that backs your argument. And whoever is most successful and persuasive in sharing the evidence that they have to back their argument is the one that wins. And that's the same thing. And that's how negotiation works. In the arts, the reason why awards are important, numbers are important, and all these billboards, all these things. People talk about it, but on the back end, what makes it really important is your booking agent uses those numbers and those things in order to negotiate your deals. Hey, you should mess with them because they've been this many times Grammy nominated or this many amount of Grammys, and that can make the number go up for your value proposition when you're negotiating deals, because that data is what you use to leverage in your deal making. And I'm trying to bring this out because it's very complex, and I'm trying to simplify it as much as I can so that you can really grasp it. And I hope that God gives me the wherewithal to really explain it and plant this seed so that you feel confident in whatever it is that you're doing, and knowing that you can negotiate anything. Everything is negotiation. Okay. And you should be negotiating at all times. And the key that you think is, what is my evidence, the data that I have to back my argument for what I want, for the number that I want, for whatever it is that you are trying to get? What evidence, what data do you have to back your point? Number 2, confidence. One of the key things that I had noticed when I was watching all these sales videos of these really grand salesmen, some of them, they have their own different little rituals. They'll listen to music. They'll stand up when they're on calls. They're to be all hyped up and stuff because it's an energy thing. People can feel how confident you are. And as an artist, you really have to be what some people call delusional, but I call it just pure confidence in knowing I'm not competing with you, but I know, but when I step on the stage, I'm going to kill it. And I hope you kill it too. But I know when it comes to me, I'm the one. That's how you got to feel about yourself. You got to be like, when it comes to accounting and counting numbers, baby, can't nobody count like me. When it comes to being a doctor and helping people, can't nobody help nobody like me. That's how you have to feel. I don't care if you're bagging groceries, baby. When it comes to putting the groceries in the bag, I do it. They don't bag like me. That's how you have, that's a spirit of excellence. That's a spirit of confidence. You have to have that in everything that you do. And you have to have that data, that work ethic to back it so that you could be a master of whatever it is that you're doing at any period of your life. And it's going to take you far. The third is numbers. It's a numbers game was one of the key things to the art of sales. So, for example, with me doing these episodes of these shows, my numbers have increased, not drastically, but the more that I do, the more people will come. The more that I do, the more opportunity, it's a numbers game. So for example, we would say if you have 400 leads being calls, outgoing calls that you have to make, right? Out of that 400, you may have 10 people that actually you get an appointment with. Out of 400 phone calls, you may only get 10 appointments. And out of those 10 appointments, you may get one closing deal. Now, you started out with 400. That's just an example. So it's a numbers game, and that's how you have to think about it when you're making your content, when you're putting out your music, when you are marketing for your business, not getting caught up in thinking you're just waiting for the moment to be discovered for something big to drastically happen to you. No, we're not trying to be discovered here. We are reaping and sowing. So it's the same. It's a numbers game. Take a deep breath. The more that you put in, you're going to get it out. Get into our performance of the show. I still not too sure about what the name of this song is. I think I'm going to call it The Light. I'm not sure. You guys leave in the comments what you think. Maybe I should name it based off of what you hear. I haven't given you guys an update on the mixing because the last episode I was so excited because we were having the first single that I'm actually going to release on the platforms getting mixed, and it just didn't work out. And I was recommended other people, and people were like, oh, well, I have know somebody. And I just really felt in my spirit, God showing me like, you need to do this, And so right now I'm learning and I'm in student mode, and it's not a lot, but at the same time, I'm not going to be able to release things as fast as I thought I was because I'm learning about compression and EQ and all the things and stuff. It's going to just take me a little bit more time, but I feel like I'm going to be really happy with the results because thus far I'm already hearing the music better according to my vision with the things that I have already mixed. So yeah, just want to give you guys an update on that whole situation where with the music, because I want you guys to be able to listen to these songs on YouTube. I want you to be able to listen to these songs and have it like a mix on Spotify and all that. So we're working on that and it's coming. But yeah, just want to let you know. We're on a journey, child. We are on a journey with finding the right crew. Okay. Yeah, but anyways, let's get into this performance of this song called The Light. The beat is by the Wonderlust. It's two guys. They are American, some really amazing producers. I believe they're out of New York, and they make some really great dance music. And so, yeah, this is the kind of up-tempo kind of style of music you guys are going to get from me. This kind of like disco funk type of vibe. The vibe of the song is just a real feel good. Who gonna stop me? Who gonna stop me, boo? That's the vibe that we're getting into it. Let's get into it. Today could be the day your whole world change. It could be the day you finally make it. Today could be the day. Don't you be afraid. Your gifts will make a way. You're gonna make it. I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen freedom where bondage reign. I know it sounds crazy, but you could really shine. Baby, you're the light. Say I'm the light. I'm the peace. I'm the joy, I'm what they need. Say I'm the light, I'm the peace. I'm the joy, I'm what they need. Ain't no keeping me down. Ain't no breaking me down. Right. Ain't no holding me down. I'll make it through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I walk barefoot through the town, cracked my head open, discovered my mind, tried to find courage, crossing all them borders on a caravan for the rest of my life. Ain't no keeping me down. Ain't no breaking me down. Right. Ain't no holding me down. I'll make it through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I'm making my way through it. I'm making my way through troubled times. I'm making my way. That's the song, y'all. Tell me what you guys think. Yeah, maybe we'll call it Making My Way or Troubled Times, or I don't know what I want to call it, but you guys tell me what you think I should maybe name the song. And we will take all of those notes into consideration when recording and releasing the final track. You know, this is pretty much my demo version that I create with you guys. And I haven't got any voice lessons on the notes or anything. It's just me. I literally just finished writing the song yesterday, sharing it with you guys before it goes into its next iteration, and then eventually is mixed and put out into the world and then performed, and hopefully we'll get to party together to it. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for sticking around in today's episode. If you are watching on YouTube and you've watched the full thing, thank you for sticking around. Yeah, be blessed, be encouraged, and most importantly, be you.